One thing about being in the dump business, you gotta have iron nostrils. Because I'll tell you what, sometimes you can't hardly stand the freaking smell. Heading to the dump right now. Got a pretty good load in the back. I don't know if you can see in the back of the dump trailer. And I'm gonna guess that this load is, I'm gonna guess 1,000 pounds. It looks like a big load, but I don't think there's that much in there weight wise. So the dump that I have here in town is $80 a ton. So I'm guessing the dump fee on this is going to be around $40. So we should be able to make some pretty good money on this. So anyway, we'll see where that ends up. Well, I'm at the dump now. Just getting ready to back in here at the dump. Looks like kind of a slow day here. Sometimes I get here and you gotta wait. There's 3 big bays that you can back into. And it looks like they've got everything pretty well cleared out today, so this should be good. Let's see if I can get some footage once I get in there. Get backed in. Hard to do this, back a trailer with one hand while I try to film with the other. Probably not the smartest thing I've ever done. Get backed up towards the back here so they don't have to move it around as much. This is a good place to pop your tires with all the nails that you drive over. Okay, let's get it unstrapped and get it dumped. It's homemade. This is my homemade roll-up mechanism. It actually works. It's super good. I have a video on how I made this. It's pretty simple. All right. Time to dump all this crap. And just so you know, in case you're wondering, it does stink in here. Actually, it stinks pretty darn bad. And I'm not really sure what all I'm walking through, but I don't think it's pine salt. All right. Shoo-wee. Hopefully I've got, yeah, I do have some battery now. I've been charging it this morning. I just pulled forward and dumped all of this. Got a dirty, stinky trailer here. But it's not as stinky as it is in here. Woo. All right, I'm pulling out now. One thing about being in the dump business, you gotta have iron nostrils. Because I'll tell you what, sometimes you can't hardly stand the freaking smell. Today's one of those days. sometimes in the heat in the middle of the summer. Woo, doggies. I don't know how these guys work here all the time. But you take some pretty stinky loads, and this place stinks pretty bad. We got everything emptied out now, so all I gotta do is go inside, pay the lady. We'll see how much weight we just got rid of. I'm gonna guess half a ton. We'll see. So it ended up being 0.58 tons. So I was pretty close. It ended up costing $46 to dump that. That's what the dump fee was. So that's one thing when you start getting into the dump business, you need to get where you have a pretty good idea of how much weight is usually going to be in your trailer. And the only way to do that is to do a few loads and see what it usually ends up being. So my dump trailer is 6 by 12, so it's not huge, it's not real big, but it's the advantage to 6 by 12 is the fact that it can still squeeze through like drive-throughs or bank drive-throughs, McDonald's, whatever, without having a problem with the width. And the 7-foot wide ones can squeeze through them a lot of times too, but the 6-foot wide is quite a bit easier to maneuver through some tight places for me anyway. And I would have gone for a 6 by 14, but I never could find a 6 by 14. It was always 7 by 14. So I went with the 6 by 12 and then added the boards on the sides so I could put more in there. And to be honest, you can put quite a bit in a 6 by 12 if you make the sides taller. And so anyway, like I say, if you're going to be in the business, you need to have an idea of how much weight usually ends up in your trailer. I have a couple of restrictions on my trailer. I don't let people do shingle jobs with it because that's just way too much weight. Like shingle tear-off jobs, you need a bigger trailer for that. I'm not doing that with this trailer. And I also don't allow like concrete masonry tear-up jobs. Again, you need a bigger, heavier duty trailer than what I've got for that. And you would need to charge a lot more than what I charge for that because the dump fee is going to be way higher. So basically, no concrete and no shingle tear-off jobs for my trailer. That's just my own stipulations. That doesn't mean that everyone else wants to do that or whatnot, but what I usually end up with is people that are cleaning up their backyard or something. They got a bunch of old crap and they just want it out of there. Or people that are remodeling, they're tearing out lath and plaster, they're tearing out sheetrock, there's old boards, there's rotten wood piles in their yard or something like that, and they want to get rid of it and clean it up. Or they throw a bunch of old bicycles and tires and junk in there or whatever. So that's usually what my clientele gets rid of. So when you throw all of those kinds of things away, it usually ends up not really being all that heavy. So I have a pretty good idea that my trailer usually doesn't end up with more than about 3/4 of a ton in it, even a full load like that. I mean, it can handle a heck of a lot more weight than that, obviously, but people just have a hard time fitting that much junk in there, because by the time you throw a bunch of junk in there, if you're not organizing it really carefully, which people don't because they just want to throw it in, then it takes up enough airspace that, you know, they just don't end up getting that much weight in there. They might get a lot of junk in there, but it doesn't end up being all that much weight. So you kind of get an idea for what your trailer is gonna handle that way, and what a load is usually gonna be, and then you can kind of structure your fees around that.